The hunt is on for the Florida Panthers.
Shoots and scores! It's Mackey on the power play!
The regular season in full swing, and with it, a push to survive and advance.
It's not going to be easy.
Injuries already taking its toll.
The weight doesn't get heavier, you just have fewer guys to lift.
But resilience, toughness, and the faithful backing of fans will look to propel this pack of Panthers to a hopeful postseason berth.
Every season's different. There's going to be different challenges.
The goal remains the same, to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup and rewrite hockey history.
We're going to fight for that goal every day.
This season, we're bringing you an entirely new perspective of Panthers hockey.
We have at least one spare for everything.
New analysis.
The expected goals are good. They've got to finish.
New stories.
We are the only NHL dance team that dances on the ice.
All with a brand new look and new flair from the Cats.
To the Florida fans, I would say enjoy the process.
This is Panthers 360.
He is your big dog in the ring.
Florida Panthers have closed out their first long road trip of the season, and now it's back at home, settling down for the next few days. More than 4,500 miles. That's how long the Panthers traveled this past week and a half. But now, Cats are back in the Sunshine State, looking to build a little home ice momentum before their next road trip at the beginning of November. We have an incredibly packed show for you here on Panthers 360. Let's run through what's on tap right now. As I mentioned, a long road trip. First month of the season here. Who else but the voice of the Florida Panthers could describe how things went down with his own eyes? We'll be joined by the legendary Steve Goldstein. And they are a unique group of dancers for sure, hyping up the crowd at Amerant Bank Arena. What if I told you the way they perform is unlike any other in the National Hockey League? And building skills and relationships on the ice with the help of the pros. Meet the young girls, maybe future superstars, getting their chance to skate and play with the once Ivy League captain. As we start here, though, a clearer picture now of the list of injuries the Panthers are dealing with this early in the season. Last week, we learned defenseman Dmitry Kulikov underwent successful surgery to repair a labrum tear, expected to be out 5 months with an upper body injury. Kulikov was injured in Florida's second game of the season following a collision with a Flyers forward on their second period shift. The 34-year-old defenseman's time on the shelf only adding, of course, to a growing list of injuries. In a clip provided by the Florida Panthers, head coach Paul Maurice touched on that next man up mentality.
It's the same concept. You don't replace these guys that we have out of the lineup, but the weight doesn't get heavier. You just have fewer guys to lift, right? So everybody shares it. We have full expectation of Uva's playing the game that he's capable of playing. He doesn't get any room not to. But that's a positive for us. We think we're putting a guy in who's very capable.
As I mentioned, Kulikov expected to be out at least 5 months. Placed on injured reserve, he's joining the captain, Alexander Barkov, who had surgery, of course, to repair his ACL and MCL, expected to be sidelined for the regular season at least. We could see star forward Matthew Tkachuk sometime at the turn of the new year. He's continuing to recover from that torn abductor. Tomas Nosek on the shelf with a knee injury. General Manager Bill Zito called a, quote, long-term injury. Florida Panthers, we are not the only team by far bitten by the injury bug to start the season. Matthew's brother, Brady Tkachuk, underwent surgery on his right thumb, expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks for the Ottawa Senators. He is the captain for that team. Rangers center and former Panther Vincent Trocheck placed on IR with an upper body injury. Right now, no timetable on his return. And in his final season, Kings center Anze Kopitar being considered week to week with a foot injury. Okay, so what do all these injuries even mean for the product on the ice? How is head coach Paul Maurice shaping up the lines early on? Well, I brought that topic to the voice of the Florida Panthers, Steve Goldstein. Here's what Goldie had to say. You mentioned one line in particular, perhaps gelling, but, when do we start to see that gelling process where, playoffs, boy, you just had almost every line the same the whole time, a couple here and there shifts, but, when do you see the lines gelling here in the beginning of the season, and what are you seeing there?
Well, I see a little bit jelly, Mike, with Rodriguez at center and Mackie Samoskevich on the wing. I think those two guys with the speed and Boquist on the other side, they're starting to get some things together. They're not obviously scoring as many goals as you want to at 5-on-5, but, the things you want to see is the attention to detail and get back to the structure. Trust the structure. When you're not scoring, everybody just starts to feel that a little bit, but you still have to play the same way they've always played. So look, NHL conventional wisdom, you look at a 10-game mark. Sometimes you look at a 20-game mark to see what's going on, who plays, well with who. I think you're kind of seeing some of that. I also shouldn't discount, and look, injuries are part of the game. Everybody's got them. But that loss of Dmitry Kulikov on the blue line is probably a little bit more important than a lot of people see. He's a very effective player in what they do, killing penalties. So that hurts as well. But I think you kind of look at the next couple of weeks into the month of November where you really want to see guys learn each other's tendencies. And, the coaching staff kind of, instead of experimenting, which they still are now, maybe honing in on some units on the power play. They're still trying to figure that out, what works best. So I think I kind of look at between 10 and 20 games, and obviously we're not even really that close to 10 yet.
Do you think the home cooking might, rejuvenate us a little bit more? I don't know, a little more pep in our step with those lines?
Well, I hope so. Historically, Mike, the last few years, they've been just as good on the road as they are at home. Sometimes they play even better, as we saw in the playoffs when they're on the road, that us against them, the world mentality. I thought last week when you start breaking down each game, you mentioned it, Philadelphia and New Jersey, those were their home openers, so you knew they bring a lot to the table. Detroit was really called out by their coach after the first game, so they played better, and then they went in. I didn't think they played close to their best game, the Panthers, but give the Buffalo Sabres credit. They were under the gun. They had lost the first 3 games of the year. You know how that goes in a lot of markets with sports, fire everybody, trade everybody. So you take those games in and of themselves. They did get some motivated teams, but the Panthers know they need to be better. They need to be better on the forecheck. They need to be on the puck more. And now it's at the point where if you look at what they're generating offensively, those numbers are good. The expected goals are good. They've got to finish. And there's no way to say it. And again, I hate to bring it up because they're not coming back anytime real soon, and injuries are part of the game. But when you take out, 80, 90-point players, which Alexander Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk are, it is more difficult for the other guys to score.
They are the only dance team in the NHL to actually dance on the ice. The Florida Panthers dance team hypes up the home crowd at Amerant Bank Arena. 18 team members, each with their own backstory. Want you to take a look at the team in action at the home games. Like I said, they're on the ice right there, taking pride in that as well. They're also all around the arena, pumping up the crowd. I listened to 2 team members who happen to be sisters. Maria Alvarez, she's in her 2nd season on the team, but little sister Danielle aspired to be like Big Sis. They've been dancing together since they were kids, and when Danielle made the team this year, it was a dream come true.
It was just amazing getting to grow and be dancers with her my whole life. So I wanted to carry that on and continue to do it on this team. And so I was like, you have to audition. There's no other option. I was here watching a lot of games, and every single time I looked at that stage with my sister on it, I said, I want to do that one day. And here I am.
You won't just catch the dance team at home games, also community events here in South Florida and local Panthers watch parties. All right, as we continue with the NHL season underway in full swing, so too is the AHL season, the American Hockey League. We're diving into what's in store for the Charlotte Checkers and who you should keep an eye on. Plus, a tradition like no other, honoring heroes among us. The Florida Panthers honoring a World War II veteran with roots right here in South Florida. It's all coming up. You're watching Panthers 360.